Okay, so this one is the third portion of the reproductive system. So we are going to talk about the fertilization and the pregnancy. So the fertilization is the process that the sperm fuse with the oocyte, and this will happen in the fallopian tubule, and that's the time, kind of like right after the ovulation. So ovulation, so the sperm has to, sperm can live for about 5 days, and so they will be around the ovulation time. So it can be there about 4 days before or within that day of the ovulation. And then the sperm will have a chance to see the oocyte and conduct this fertilization. When sperm enter into the woman's body, the sperm will very quickly start to go through a process called capacitation. That sperm will start to, the tail will swim much faster and allow the sperms to move into the fallopian tubule. And when they reaching the fallopian tubule and at the time of the fertilization, then they will see the oocytes and they can conduct the fertilization. So the easy quiz question is that where is the location of the fertilization? And it's not the uterus, it's not the ovaries, it's the tubule, it's in the fallopian tubule. It's also called the uterine tubule. So when there are gonna be many sperms seeing the oocyte, so all of them will try to penetrate it, and they will have to penetrate through the corona radiata. Those are layer of the original follicular cells, and then they will, when they enter through these layers of cells, they will find the sperm binding proteins in the zona pellucida, and this is the layer right outside on the outer layer of the oocyte. So there's a receptor, it's transmembrane proteins, so sperm binds on it. When it binds on it, it's gonna activate the process in the acrosome. So this is a portion on the front tip of the head of a sperm, and the enzyme will be released from the acrosome that will allow to access into the oocyte surface. Once they penetrate through this oocyte surface, the chromosome will be delivered. This fusion also stimulates the oocyte to complete these meiosis. They have the first meiosis. So we have the first polar body and the secondary oocyte. Now, this secondary oocyte contains n times 2, the chromosome number, and they need to complete these meiosis too in order to become a haploid. So the fertilization will trigger that to complete it. and that will allow this secondary oocyte to produce two daughter cells. One is the second polar body as well as the third oocyte, and that third oocyte will become the one. If we call it the ovum, the ovum is the final haploid oocyte gamete from the female, and the fusion of sperm and the ovum will form this new cell. This is called the zygote. So this one showing you this process. A lot of sperms will try to penetrate through first the outer layer. The outer layer, we can see the corona radiata. There are several cells out there. So they will penetrate through it. And the outer portion, this is not the cell. These others are follicular cells in a way. And here is the layer. This layer is called zona pellucida, right here, zona pellucida. And here we have this sperm receptor. Once binds on it, then the acrosome will release enzyme to break it. I like this picture in the way that I want you to see that this is an unfinished process of the meiosis too. So the original oocyte has 2n times 2 is already duplicated. And so that's before the ovulation, they finish the first meiosis. So we have the secondary oocyte as well as the first polar body. And then now we have this one here is the daughter chromatins has not been divided yet. So it's held in the metaphase. And the merge of the fertilization will continue this metaphase to become anaphase. So you can see the spindles apparatus to pull these two group of chromatins away from each other. And one of it, this group may, this seems to be closer. This group will merge with the DNA from the sperm, and they will form a new cell. This portion will be the second, another daughter cells, and that will become a second. This will be the second oocyte, and this will be third, or this is the second oocyte, right? And this will then become, the other portion will become the second polar body. I think probably next picture has something. Okay. Later we will see. We will see that eventually we will have two polar body and fertilized ovum. So this one show you like this picture showing you the this more like a step process of how sperm enter into the oocyte. So a lot of this term you don't need to worry. I just want to show you the picture, kind of give you like a visual idea that how sperm enter into the oocyte. So basically sperm has the head. In the head we have this acrosome. Acrosome contains enzyme. When they first has to penetrate through these corona radiata, those are the cells. And once they reach the zona pellucida, then this enzyme will be released, allow it to go through these zona pellucida, and then allow these chromosome, this nucleus to be released and merge with the oocyte. So that's that process. Now we have this fertilized ovum. and we call it the zygote. Then we start to have this prenatal development. So basically, this is the beginning of the pregnancy. So the entire pregnancy takes about 9 months, as you probably already know, that a lot of this change occur in the first 8 weeks. So in the first week, that is the time of the fertilization, and that is that the fertilized cells is still in the fallopian tubule, and then they will have to move by the tubule from the tubule into the uterus. So that is the process. During that movement, it takes about a week. Zygotes will start to be divided into a group of cells. This group of the cells are called morula. Morula then become the blastocyst, and this blastocyst will then find a place to implant in the uterus, and that is the second week. Second week, we will see this moving group of cells will settle down in the uterus, meaning that they will kind of like not moving anymore. They will kind of embedded into the uterus, and they will, it's called implantation. And the one major thing they do is they will start to build this placenta. So we will see that in the second week, placenta build this connection with the mother, and the cells start to divide. And by the end of the 8th week, we will see a lot of like body structure to become identifiable, visible, recognizable. And in that second week, we call it an embryo, right here, develop an embryo. And because embryo is not visible, but by the end of the 8th week, this embryo will become like a little person structure. That little person structure is now a name called fetus. So from the 9th week on, this fetus grow, and then basically more details will be developed, but the structure basically is already there in about the 8th week of the gestational age, and then the 9 months they will be delivered, and after birth it's called an infant. So a lot of this process happens in the first 8 weeks. So we will probably spend a lot of time talking about this process. So this first week is the cell. It's right after the fertilization. We have this zygote very quickly to start to divide. Mitosis, 1 become 2, 2 become 4, and during these movements from the fallopian tubule into the uterus, cell divided. One thing about the unique portion here is that the total volume doesn't change. You can imagine that because here is in the tubule. So we have more cells, but they are all encapsulated in this wall. You guys remember what the name of this wall? This is the zona pellucida, right? So this is a zona pellucida. So this wall doesn't change. The entire volume is not changed, but the cell number increase. And then this eventually this zona pellucida cannot hold this many cells anymore. Okay, before they break, this is called the morula. So morula is the form to describe that cell divide, but the whole volume is not changed. When they break, it will turn, the morula will become the blastocyst, right here, blastocyst. And then blastocyst has two group of cell. This cavity is called blastocystic cavity. And then they will have a two group cell. One is the inner cell mass, and the outer portion is the trophoblast, I think. We will see it. And then this blastocyst will move into the uterus and start to get embedded in the uterus. And here is the endometrium. Endometrium is the layer that it will kind of like develop this environment for blastocyst to get implanted. So this one takes about a week, the first week. It will change from the zygote to morula to the blastocyst, and it will get embedded. So the morula is the group of the cells in the first week. This is a time when they divide, but the whole volume does not change. These whole volume are all encapsulated in the like a wall called the zona pellucida, and this process is called the cell cleavage, that cell divide, but the entire volume is not changed. Now this morula will then turn into the blastocyst. The one thing about this blastocyst is that we start to not just the cell, but we also break here. Zona pellucida will be ruptured, will be break, and so the whole thing will gonna be expanded. The inner portion here, it's gonna build the fluid cavity. So that's the kind of like a visible feature between blastocyst and morula. Yes, so this one is one that I want to show you. So in the beginning, we have this primary oocyte. Primary oocyte here is it will be divided. The first meiosis will have the secondary oocyte and the first polar body. The second meiosis will have the ovum and the second polar body. So in here we can see there are two polar body here. After this second meiosis, the ovum will merge with the sperm, and so this is becoming the zygote 2N, and then this cycle will start to conduct this mitosis. So first mitosis, second mitosis, and starting from here. But in the very beginning, we can still visualize these two polar body. That is the sign of the two stage of the meiosis from this primary oocyte. Okay, so that's the one I want to show you. Now with this one, blastocyst. This blastocyst will will continue to develop. One thing about this blastocyst is that it contains this cavity, blastocystic cavity. It contains fluid right here. This blastocystic cavity is also called the blastocoria. And this is the fluid filled cavity. So that's that. The divided cell from these zygotes will divide into two. At this point, it's divided into two group cells. One is called the inner mass, inner cell mass, right here, inner cell mass, and on one side, and the outer portion, the original zona pellucida is already broken apart, so the whole barn can expand, and the outer portion are formed by this layer of cell. This layer cell are called the trophoblast. Yeah, that's the term I was looking for. Trophoblast. Yeah. Trophoblast. So this is the blastocyst. So from the morula, eventually the zona pellucida, they cannot hold the entire thing anymore. So it's degraded. And after that, the morula turn into the blastocyst. Blastocyst can gradually expand. The blastocyst contains the original from the very first zygote, and the divided cells turn into two groups of cells. One is called the trophoblast that form this very outer cell layer, and the other cells form the inner cell mass attached to one side, so they are not spread apart. They are in one corner of this entire blastocyst. Inside of it, one feature is that we have this fluid cavity called blastocystic cavity or blastocory. So that's that. From here, though, the inner cell mass will develop into our cell body. We will learn something, so that's very important. The outer, though, the trophoblast will become the portion to form the placenta. So because this portion gonna interface with the uterus, mother size, so they will be the one to build the placenta. The inner cell mass will be those to develop the fetus. All right. So the first thing they need to do is they need to settle down. They need to find a place to get implantation. So this is the blastocyst in the uterus, and this trophoblast will start to secrete enzyme to affect these mother sites, to affect this uterus, and then they will start to build the very first form of the placenta. So the trophoblast cells were invaded into the endometrium, and this trophoblast cells will start to form with the mother side will work together to form the placenta. And this placenta is important to provide the nutrition that the baby needs. Let's take a look. In the first, after about 7 days after the fertilization, these blastocysts will move into the uterus and attach to the uterine wall, eventually, and call it implantation. Trophoblast secrete enzyme to affect the uterus tissue. This layer is called the endometrial tissue to start to provide more of the blood vessel to provide the oxygen and the nutrients. And then eventually this will become the placenta. Placenta is an important place for fluid exchange, for the basically the blood circulation between. This is the interface of baby's circulation and the mother circulation. So baby will need nutrients. They will get all this from the mother. Mother is the only source they can have. So you can imagine that these cells divide. When they divide, they need to get the resources. These resources include a lot of glucose, oxygen. Those are essential, and a lot of nutrients to help these different cells to be divided into different organs. They will also release the metabolic waste products like CO2 and so many other things. And they don't have things to, move it out. They don't have the system that you have to release this from your body. So they basically have to rely on the mother. So they will use this interface through the blood circulation to release all this back to the mother, and the mother take care of it. So that's very important portion. In a way, I want to give you an idea is that treat your wife nice, or treat your boyfriend nice, or girlfriend nice, or mothers nice, because they are the one who actually suffer a lot. You need to think that a lot of their nutrients actually used by the baby, and they are the one to take care of the development of the baby. So I know that nowadays we have the women right, female rights, that they want to have a equal pay, something like that. But if that is your wife, that is your woman, don't argue about who pay what, because just being a mother sacrifice a lot already. You as a husband should be grateful, because all you did is very easy, but a woman does is a lot. So if your woman get paid, I mean take the big portion of the responsibility in the house, good for you. But if it's not, don't argue or anything. As a man, you are responsible to take care of your wife. All right, so that's that, and the following is the continued development of this blastocyst. So what we left is this one, right? So we have this inner cell mass and the trophoblast. Trophoblast will interact with the uterus tissue to build the placenta. And in the same time, this inner cell mass will further developed. One thing unique is that they will detach a little bit from the trophoblast. And in that region, they will form another cavity. Now we have two cavities. This cavity, this newly formed cavity is called the amniotic cavity, containing the amniotic fluid. And the inner cell mass will become here. They will basically face two fluidic cavity. One is the amniotic cavity, and here is the blastocystic cavity. These inner cell mass are the one to develop into a baby. This inner cell mass will, now we see here we have bilaminar embryonic disc, meaning that it has two layers. So this two layer will have three layers. These three layers are called germ layer. So here is the two layer. In two layer, the one facing the amniotic cavity is the one to call the ectoderm, because ecto means outside, meaning that this is the out, right? So this is the outside. The other portion is this one facing the blastocyst cavity is the one calling the endoderm. And in the middle, gradually, the middle will appear. It's called the mesoderm. So we have these three germ layers, and these three germ layers are important because from this step on, these cells basically have already decided their fate. Their fate are decided that the ectoderm will become the stem cells to produce the ecto, like the outer portion. This will be the outer portion of the body, like our skin, our muscle, our bone, and our nervous system too. So from the head to the bone, to the muscle, to the nerve. So that is the ectoderm. So their fate already decided. These are the stem cells, but their stem cell has already their fate. Now the mesoderm are the one to divide it into the into some organ. This organ include the blood vessel, circulation, immune system, and the endoderm will start to provide something more inner portion of the organ. So this is important that the stem cell from the ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm typically do not inter-exchange with each other. Their fate already decided. Although they can duplicate, they are still the one to provide the cell division, but their final product is not unlimited. Before this process, the cells has no limitation on possibility, limitation on the possibility that what kind of organ they will become to. But from this point on, they already have kind of like this spectrum of the organ that they will become to, but not the other spectrum. So that's very important. And they are all coming from this inner cell mass. 3 germ layers are the ectoderm, endoderm, and the mesoderm. This is also called, this group of, this is basically germ layer. We call it embryonic disc, somewhere like that, embryonic disc. This is also called the gastrula. So, and the gastrula is one going to develop into the infant. This is also called the primary germ layer. This structure is also called primordial embryo. In the beginning, earlier is the embryo, now it's the primordial embryo. So that's that. This one showing you the very important of these 3 germ layer. The endoderm, the mesoderm, the ectoderm. All right, so this table summarizes the different stage and their term. So this summary basically only summarizes the first 2 weeks, because after the 2 weeks is the embryo development. So here we have the fertilized ovum cleavage to form the morula. Morula will turn into the blastocyst. During this time, morula, the total volume is not changed, so it's solid ball of the cell. This solid ball is formed by the zona pellucida, and the zona pellucida breaking apart. Now this group of cells can expand, forming this blastocyst. This blastocyst will then start to develop into the inner cell mass. Inner cell mass will start to develop into the germ layer. This is called the gastrula. So this is by the end of with that 3 germ layer, then the body shape will start to get developed. And when body shape is, and before that, let's look at this. Another portion is the embryo. Sorry, the placenta. So the placenta is formed by the trophoblast. So what we said earlier is about the inner cell mass. Now let's look into the placenta. The trophoblast will reach the, we'll see this uterus and start to interact with uterus to form this placenta. So you can see here is the blood circulation from the baby and then the mother. So you can see the mother provide the blood, the artery, and the vein to interact with the circulation from the baby. One thing I want you to see is that the way is that their connection is through a pool. So this is the pool. This is called the sinus. Maybe we have turned here, placenta sinus. So basically that the blood will get filtered and will get delivered into this sinus. while the baby can collect oxygen and the nutrients from this sinus back to the blood and provide into the baby. In the same time, the baby will deliver the metabolic waste products into this sinus. And the mother will take that metabolic waste products from the vein back to the mother's body. So this is the placenta. The placenta include the baby part and the mother part. So this is the interaction. It's all initiated by the trophoblast cell. Now, these trophoblast cells are originally part of the cells divided from the fertilized egg. And this trophoblast cell will then gradually becoming a tough envelope to hold the entire infant. And this tough envelope is called the chorion. This chorion will have, you can see this tough envelope. Chorion will also form this like finger type of the structure into mother's tissue. And this is called the villi, chorionic villi into mother's tissue. And that basically interface with the sinus, placenta sinus. And the blood sent to the placenta from the baby and the blood going back to from the placenta into the baby are going through this cord. This cord is called the umbilical cord. So that's the placenta. All right, so let's go back to the embryonic development. As we mentioned before, that about after the second week, that the first week, the 7 days, at the 7 days is the implantation, and by the end of the second week, we will have the blastocyst to become this embryo. Now this embryo will start to develop. This will take about 8 weeks. So from the second week to the 8th week. This embryonic development will start to have the heart and then the nervous system. So by the time you have the nervous system, you can see the spinal cord. So that's the first thing you will see from the embryo. You will see there is a spinal cord. But other than that, it's still not very clear. And then you will see the arm and the legs, fingers and the toes. So all this process take about 8 weeks. So by the end of the 8th week, the embryo will develop into something look more like a human body. And so after the 8th week, we don't call it an embryo anymore. We call it a fetus. So this one summarizes the embryonic development. The primary germ layer, we have the endoderm, mesoderm, and the ectoderm. Develop into different organs. Their development essentially is result of different gene expression. We will later learn about the gene expression. We actually learned that in the cell, right? Cell physiology, we learned about it. And then by the week 3, it's already implanted. The trophoblast will become the chorion. This tough envelope to cover the entire, to kind of like hold the entire baby. And then this chorion form this chorionic really enter into the mother's part. Mother's part will form this placentic sinus, and so there will be material fluid exchange, and the placenta is formed by about the week 3. Then nutrients, oxygen can be exchanged, and the waste products can be exchanged between mother and the embryo. So that's that. So that basically summarizes what we have learned about this first 8 weeks, right? So that's very like the most like busy portion. After 8 weeks, it's basically just expanding, right? We already have these fetus, we have this the fingers, toes, everything visible. All right, so let's talk about another like related topic about the twins. So it's possible that, so what we have to say is ideal. We have one dominant follicle, we have one oocyte, we have one fertilization. But what if we have two, right? If we have two dominant follicles, and both are go through this ovulation, and both, when they go into the fallopian tubule, they both have the chance to receive the sperms. And so it's possible that during the same time, during the same ovulation, that the surge of the luteinizing hormone will push both one but two follicles into the fallopian tubule, and both have a chance to become fertilized. So if that's the case, then we will have twins. If this twin is coming from two eggs, as I mentioned before, as I just mentioned, these twins will be very different because these two eggs will have different genes. So even though they could even be like one male, one female, so they develop together within the same womb, within the same environment, not the same environment, but because they are going to have a different different placenta, essentially. They probably implant at different location in the uterus. So they will be different. It's called the di means two, dizygotic twins. What if we have only one, and during the cell division, during the Blastocyst development, they are not formed as one group of cell, but divided into two. And it's possible because before the germ layer development, all cells has a potential to divide to anything. Those stem cells have potential to divide to anything. And at that time, that twins will become a monozygote twins. So here is the dizygotic twins, that two fertilized. And here you see again, we have two polar body, first polar body, second polar body, that as a result is the evidence of the meiosis. We have meiosis 2 stages, right? The first stage we generate one polar body, the second stage generate another polar body. So these two fertilized egg will probably implanted in different location in the uterus, develop into two baby. But it's also possible that it's from the same fertilized egg, and during that division, right before the formation of the germ layer, they have to be divided before that, because after this portion, cells has already have their fate. So it could be that they got either divided earlier or a little bit late, and then these twins are called, because they are all coming from the same genetic base, like genetic source. So they will have the same gene. It's called the monozygotic twins. So that's the twins. That's a twin. So the final portion, we are going to talk about the hormonal change during the pregnancy. So here one thing is that in the beginning we have this placenta. This placenta from the chorionion, we will have the hormones called human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG. If you recall that earlier we talked about the puberty, we talked about that this is the one to sustain the corpus luteum to continue to develop. If we don't have HCG, then the corpus luteum will degenerate it. And you guys remember what's the hormone generated by the corpus luteum? That is the estrogen and the progesterone. And the estrogen and the progesterone are the one to maintain the uterus proliferation. So without the estrogen and the progesterone, if we don't have the HCG, we don't have the corpus luteum, we don't have the estrogen progesterone, then the uterus cannot sustain that proliferated, and then we will have menstruation. With the HCG, the placenta, the implantation, the HCG will maintain the corpus luteum to stay alive. And so we will have continued production of the estrogen and the progesterone. And those are important to maintain the uterus to have this environment to neutralize the implanted embryo, right? So we have that. Now, we just following what we have just said, the HCG provided by the placenta increase to maintain the corpus luteum to be available. However, their production is not permanent. Their production will end about 2 months. So that is the time that HCG, we see it in the early 2 months, then it will drop. The placenta already built, the environment already built, and the production of HCG will decrease. When they decrease, we can know that the consequence is that corpus luteum will be degenerated, because the way we maintain the corpus luteum to be viable is because we have the HCG. If we don't have the HCG, then corpus luteum will degenerate. When they degenerate, they will not generate the estrogen and the progesterone. So sounds very bad, right? Don't worry, because from this point on, we have another organ to produce the estrogen and progesterone, which is coming from the placenta. So placenta, instead of doing it through the, like a middle person, HCG is a middle person, to get the estrogen progesterone from the corpus luteum. This corpus luteum, remember, they are actually still in the ovaries. So instead of go through this, like second person, middle person to get they will, now the placenta is big enough, they can produce their own estrogen and the progesterone. So we can see that the estrogen and the progesterone is not changed because in the beginning it's provided by the corpus luteum, but after the drop of the HCG, placenta take this job and continuing produce the estrogen and the progesterone. Placenta is growing with the baby, so the placenta is getting big and bigger, and so we will have increase of progesterone and estrogen throughout the entire pregnancy. So that's that. So these three hormones are important. HCG peak at 2 months. Estrogen and progesterone continue increase throughout the entire pregnancy. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that you need to know where are the estrogen and the progesterone released from. They are released from in the beginning, they are released from the corpus luteum. And later they are produced from the placenta. So that's two quiz question. Several quiz questions you probably can see from this slide. So what's the purpose? What's the function of estrogen and the progesterone? They are important for female development, right? The estrogen is the female sex hormone. Their function include the growth of the breast. Breast has these mammary glands that's the one to produce the milk, and so the estrogen stimulating can help the development of the duct. The glands is like every other gland, it has the region called alveoli to produce the fluid or hormone or anything, right? And then it has ducts to deliver it. And here is to deliver, in the end, to deliver into the nipple, right? So the estrogen will stimulate the production of the duct. So kind of infrastructure, right? Build the road, build the railway, and then to get everything ready. So that's the estrogen. It also stimulates the prolactin. Prolactin are the hormone produced from the anterior pituitary gland. This prolactin release will stimulate the mammary gland to produce milk. We also, estrogen can also provide the development of the uterus smooth muscle. So this is to get the uterus muscle, so when it's time to deliver the baby, we have this muscle to conduct the labor, right? So this muscle development is provided by the estrogen. But you don't want it to contract yet, right? If the baby is not 9 months yet, you don't want it to contract. But the estrogen is the one to make it develop. It also increases the sensitivity to the oxytocin. Oxytocin can stimulate these uterus to contract. So they increase that sensitivity. So in this, from the estrogen job is to make the uterus to be able to contract. Increase the muscle number, increase the sensitivity to the oxytocin. So the estrogen acts on the breast, increase the ducts, acts on the pituitary glands to increase the prolactin, that in the end increase the production of the milk, and also acts on the uterus to increase the muscle number, increase muscle. When we have the more muscle, we can have higher force, and also increase the muscle sensitivity to the oxytocin. That is the signal to stimulate it to contract. So prepare your body for that. We just want to use this, showing you because we mentioned about the pituitary glands so many times, I want to kind of summarize what we have learned related to the reproductive system. So we have the pituitary glands part of the brain. In the pituitary glands, we have the anterior and posterior. So that's two lobes. We mentioned about two important hormones, several actually important hormones from the pituitary gland. One is the prolactin, right? Let's see, where is the prolactin? Here, prolactin. So prolactin acts on it, that's from the anterior. From the anterior, we also have the gonadotropin, including the FSH and LH. Those are from the anterior. From the posterior, we talk about the oxytocin. So that's the oxytocin. Oxytocin acts on the breast. It also acts on the uterus when it's time to conduct the labor to cause the uterus contraction. It doesn't show here, but that is the oxytocin. So just get the like a visual picture that the anterior has several, actually. You can see that anterior has many hormones. The two or three we mentioned are the prolactin, gonadotropins include the FSH and LH. From the posterior, we talk about the oxytocin. Oxytocin acts on the breast as well as on the uterus. So that's that. So that's the estrogen. Now, what's the function of the progesterone? The function of progesterone is to also female development. It also acts on the breast and uterus. So in the breast, it helps to build the glandular tissue. So it's not just the duct. It acts on the number of these glandular tissues. And so altogether, we can have the more of this glandular tissue to produce the milk. Remember that estrogen can enhance the uterus contraction, and progesterone is one to suppress that contraction. So we can have the estrogen to build the muscle, increase the sensitivity, but how can we prevent it contract? The way to prevent it contract is that progesterone. So both progesterone and estrogen kind of like parallel increase throughout the entire pregnancy. This progesterone also acts on the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland to suppress the gonadotropin, to suppress the LH and FSH. This is important because we don't want to have this time to have follicular development. FSH, LH are the one to act on the ovaries to produce to make these follicles to develop. But we don't want that because we already have the fertilized egg. So, so progesterone can suppress the production of LH and FSH in order to prevent the development of another patch of the follicles. So that's the progesterone. So here summarize the hormones related to the mammary glands development. We have the estrogen to build the ducts, to build this infrastructure. Progesterone to build not just the duct, but also the glandular prolactin is the one to enhance the production of the milk. So we can see that during the puberty, female have this increased amount of the estrogen, the sex hormone, they will cause the breast enlargement. And during the pregnancy, progesterone without the pregnancy won't be high. Progesterone only high when we have the corpus luteum, that is the second half of the menstrual cycle, as well as the pregnancy. So that will cause the increase of the glandular, and then we have the prolactin to produce more milk. So that's the process of mammary gland development. All right. In addition to that, our placenta also produce the hormone called lactogen. Lactogen is one to increase the several things. Lactogen increase the breast growth. It also increase the blood glucose level. In order to provide more glucose in the blood, the reason is to provide the baby with the glucose that the baby needs. And that's why for the pregnant woman, it may generate hyperglycemia due to the secretion of lactogen. And that's called the gestational diabetes. Now it's 9 months, it's time to deliver baby. It's called parturition. Two things will happen. One is the estrogen is one to increase the sensitivity to the oxytocin. It also increases the muscle, uterus muscle to contract. And when it's time that estrogen is higher and higher than the progesterone, then the uterus will have higher chance to contract. Another is the stretch from the baby. The infant getting bigger stretch, the smooth muscle, when you stretch, when you stimulate physically, mechanically stimulate it, it cannot contract. So that will enhance the muscle contraction. And hours before the parturition, amniotic sac will erupt, fluid will coming out, and then uterine contract to conduct the labor. And then also the umbilical cord, blood vessel constriction, and the placenta will become separated from the uterus. The delivery of baby typically is a head first orientation. Force it, push it through the cervical canal open, and that we deliver a baby. So this is the picture showing you that the infant is 9 months and stretch the uterus can cause the muscle constriction, and when the baby delivers, placenta is also detached separate from the uterus, and so it will be removed too. If it's not the head birth, then it's called a breech birth. It's more difficult to do it. C-section may be needed to safely taking the baby as well as to protect the mother. And now we have the baby. Baby gonna feed. So this is called the lactation. This lactation is involved a feedback. This feedback is related to two hormones from the pituitary glands. One is the oxytocin from the posterior. This is the posterior pituitary glands oxytocin. So basically, this is the response to the sucking of the nipple. The oxytocin, one of the function is the contraction, right? So in the pregnancy, uterus contraction is stimulated by the oxytocin. So when sucking the nipples, oxytocin will cause the contraction of the muscle and contract the epithelial cells to squeeze the milk out. It will also stimulate the anterior pituitary gland to release the prolactin releasing hormone from the hypothalamus to act on the pituitary glands to cause a release the prolactin. Then prolactin will act on the mammary glands to produce milk. So that is that. And that finish our pregnancy, finish our reproductive system. Let me know if you guys have any question. Thank you guys.